God bless America. Hello, everybody. I am the Talk Radio Protege. This is the Protege program. I pray you'll excuse my tardiness in uploading this video, but I've been extremely busy related to work today, and I'm actually traveling at the moment. So I didn't get to go through my usual routine. With it, that kind of goes without saying, I think, when I'm traveling. But anyway. If you watched the news yesterday, you know what we're about to talk about because the paragon of virtue and compassion known as the Democrat Party apparently has as one of its ranking members a compassionless, emotionless, frigidly cold robot, and her name is Elizabeth Warren. So, as you can see, we're talking about something that's in the orbit of this issue, but I'll lead off with the quote from Elizabeth Warren. So it's down here in this paragraph here. Warren was on CNN, and she was asked about the murder of Mollie Tibbetts by an illegal immigrant. And Elizabeth Warren said, "I'm so sorry for the family here. One of the things we have to remember is that we need an immigration system that is effective, that focuses on where the real problems are." Dead air so that can sink in. How dim-witted, how unaware, how incompetent can you be to utter these words in the context of someone just died? And someone has now become a statistic in a problem that you and your opponents are trying to address. And you say that the real problems are not here. Do you want to be a politician? Do you have any idea? Do you have a single clue how this is going to be interpreted? The only explanation that I can think of is that she shut her brain off to make this comment. That the comment did not come from a place of thinking, but it was a reflex. We're talking about immigration, therefore we have to talk about mothers being separated from their children. And I wonder if they have some more of the quote. No, they do not. I'm going to, through the magic of video editing, I will return and I will have the full transcript of the quote from Elizabeth Warren on this CNN show.
Murdered, her body believed to be found yesterday. A person has been charged with it. This person is an undocumented immigrant. Mike Pence and the president have suggested the immigration laws need to be stronger so that people like this man who was accused of this murder were not in the country.
Pause for a moment. Could this be the statement that triggered the algorithm from Miss Warbot's brain that said, we're no longer talking about human beings or a tragedy. We are now talking about immigration policy. Must pivot.
Sorry for the family here, and I know this is hard, not only for the family, but for the people in her community, the people throughout Iowa.
Not talking about immigration. Must pivot.
But one of the things we have to remember is we need an immigration system that is effective, that focuses on where real problems are.
Are you telling me that a young woman being murdered is not a real problem? Like, you just, what are we talking about here? The guy asked you about the murder of a young woman by an illegal immigrant. And you understood that context because you apologized. You expressed your condolences on behalf of the family. And then what did you say? You said that we need to focus on the real problem. How am I supposed to interpret that besides you don't think that Americans dying at the hands of illegal immigrants is a problem? Imagine, if you will, imagine a world where there was a school shooting and the president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, or any Republican for that matter, or anybody to the right of Joseph Stalin for that matter, went on television and said, it's a real tragedy that these children were shot at this school, but we need to focus on where the real problems are. Can you not imagine the outrage that would come from all of the corners of these United States of America? It would be a fiery indignation like the world has not seen before. Obviously, I'm exaggerating a little bit. What incompetent moron steps in it this bad? How did you make this mistake? I'm going to let a little bit more of the comments roll here just to show you she's totally left behind. It's totally exited her mind. The reason that she's on the show and at this very moment, which is to comment on the death of this young girl and immigration policy as it relates to her, the tragedy is now gone from her mind. She's discarded it.
Last month, I went down to the border and I saw where children had been taken away from their mothers. I met with those mothers who had been lied to.
Because the real problem is children being taken away from their mothers at the border. We don't care about the children that are getting taken away from their mothers unless it's at the border, because it's not about the children or the mothers. If it was about the children and the mothers, then Warren would not have brought it up in this context. Mollie Givens, a child of her mother, has just been permanently separated from her mother. Mollie Givens's mother, or Holly, I apologize that I already, Mollie, it's right there on the screen. Mollie, and it's not even Givens, it's Mollie Tibbetts. You moron. Mollie Tibbetts' mother will never get to hold her again. Mollie Tibbetts' mother will never get to see her smile or hear her laugh or watch her grow up. Ever. Why? Because someone killed her. Who is the person that killed her? Well, if you listen to some people exclusively on the feminist side, you would think it's men's problem. It's not the immigration problem, it's the man problem flaring up again. They're equating this guy to catcallers on the street. This is the low opinion that the left has of men that are a little bit crude and a little bit, maybe even a little bit rude. Catcalling is something that I don't do to women. I think of it as rude. When somebody just yells at you on the street, and I'm a person who's been yelled at on the street, and I left that situation thinking, what just happened to me? And while catcalling is probably not the same, I can imagine a similar reaction. Like, you're walking down the street and you hear a whistle and you turn and look and see a guy chuckling to his friends. You're thinking, what just actually happened here? But anyhow, the left is trying to draw or some on the left, on the extreme left, are trying to draw an equivalency between a violent person who is breaking the law and decides to further break the law because he doesn't want to get caught breaking the law, to a guy who sees a woman going by on the street and figures, I'll never see this woman again. Why don't I take some kind of shot in the dark that is probably not going to work? I'm just going to throw this out there into the wind and I'll never have to deal with it because I'll never see this woman again. They're not the same thing. They're not even close. that's laying aside the fact that the guy is an illegal immigrant, and if he had been denied at the border, like our borders should do to illegal immigrants, Mollie Tibbetts would be alive. Mollie Tibbetts would not be dead. That's going to do it for this video. I'm starting to ramble a little bit, and I don't like to ramble at you guys, but thank you for watching. I know it was a little short. Again, these are just excuses at this point, but I've been busy all day, didn't really have the time to prepare like I like to do, and because I'm rambling a little bit, I'm going to cut it off there. I don't like to ramble too much. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. Hit subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so that you don't miss videos that are coming up in the future. Until next time, good night and God bless.